The vote counter glowed cold and blue across the council chamber. 5 species had voted yes. Only 1 had voted no. Ambassador Claire Hoffman felt her stomach drop as the numbers locked into place on the holographic display. 30 years of diplomacy. 30 years of trying to earn humanity a place among the stars. It had come to this. Primus Tal stood. His tall silhouette stretched across the curved walls of Station Harmony 7. Claire knew that look. Satisfaction. The Rathani had pushed for this for months, and now they had won. "The matter is settled," Tal announced, his voice filling the chamber. "The human colony worlds will be placed under concorded protection." "For their own safety," Claire said and rose. The delegates turned. Some watched with pity, most with indifference. "Protection?" she said, keeping her voice steady even as anger burned under her ribs. "You call seizing our sovereign world's protection?" A ripple of what passed for laughter ran through the Morvani section. High Commander Quinn leaned forward, bulk filling the seat. "Ambassador," he said, every word slow and cold, "your species has proven we cannot govern ourselves. You come from a death world. Violence is in your nature. The Concorded cannot allow that instability to threaten civilized space." "We have never threatened anyone," Claire shot back. "Every conflict we've been involved in was defensive, every single one." Tal raised a hand. Silence fell. "The human propensity for warfare is well documented," he said. "Your history shows continuous war for millennia. You maintain standing forces far beyond what any peaceful species requires." "Because we had to," Claire replied. "For decades, the Concorded restricted our trade, denied us technology, treated us like criminals because we evolved on a harsher planet. We adapted. We obeyed. We bent over backward for respect. For 30 years, you watched and punished us." A younger Rathani delegate, Subprimus Lurik, shifted in his seat. Claire noticed and stored the movement away. Small things were sometimes the first cracks in a great wall. "Perhaps we are being hasty," Counselor Bren of the Tathi said quietly. "The humans have followed our laws. This reads more like conquest than protection." "Your objection is noted," Tal said, voice dismissive. "But the vote is final. Administrative control will transfer to Concorded oversight within 30 days. Any resistance will be met with appropriate measures." Claire felt her hands ball into fists. She forced them loose. Anger now would play into their narrative. Instead, she pulled out the prepared statement from her datapad, the one her government had hoped never to use. "The United Government of Earth rejects the authority of the Galactic Concorded to impose custodianship over our sovereign territory," she read. "We reject the premise that our species requires supervision. We reject the implication that we are less worthy of self-determination than any other spacefaring civilization." The chamber quieted. Even Tal's face tightened. "For 3 decades, we have tried to be good neighbors," she continued, voice gaining strength. "We have compromised and adapted to prove we are worthy of respect. Respect cannot be earned from those determined to see you as inferior. We are done trying." "You would defy the Concorded?" Tal asked, the condescension dipping into something sharper. "We would defend our freedom," Claire said, "just as any of your species would. Or have you forgotten the Rathani fought for independence? Are those principles only for species you call civilized?" Quinn's bulk rose to its full height. "You dare compare yourselves to us? You primitives who only left your world because you stumbled onto faster-than-light travel? You Deathworlders?" "Strength is endurance," Claire cut across. "We survived a planet that tried to kill us every day. You call it an insult. We call it proof." She gathered her things. "Earth's answer is no. We will not surrender our colonies. We will not submit to your authority. And if you try to enforce this vote with force, we will respond." Tal's expression hardened. That would be unwise. The Concorded fleet numbers in the thousands. Your entire species has fewer than 300 warships. This is not a fight you can win. Perhaps not, Claire said, but it is one we will have. She left the chamber as a scent of urgent chatter rose behind her, plans forming, contingencies hashed. Humanity had prepared for this possibility for 30 years. They had hoped it would never come, but hope and preparation were not the same thing. Outside, she activated a secure channel. Admiral Hayes, this is Hoffman. The vote went against us. They demand control of the colonies within 30 days. Admiral David Hayes's face appeared, grim, unsurprised. The President has authorized defensive deployments. If they come for our worlds, we fight. Understood, he said. I will position the fleet accordingly. Claire looked through the viewport at Earth, a blue marble in the void. Down there, life moved on. Politicians spoke, families ate, children played, unaware they had stepped closer to war. She pressed a hand to the glass. Please let us be ready, she whispered. Back on Earth, President Ana Ruiz had not slept in 2 days. In the emergency command center beneath Geneva, screens tracked fleet positions, troop movements, and intercepted chatter that all pointed one way. The Concorded are coming, she said without looking up. How long? 72 hours, give or take, Hayes answered. They're massing at our border. The first wave will be heavy. Capital ships, carriers, support fleets. Enough firepower to glass a planet. How many? Anna asked. 500 at least in the first wave, Hayes said. We have 63 ships within immediate response range and another scattered across human space. Even concentrated, we'll be outnumbered 5-1. Can we evacuate the colonies? She asked, turning to the map. Human-controlled space had expanded fast. A dozen and more worlds, new colonies teeming with people who had left Earth for opportunity. New Britannia alone held millions. Some, Hayes said, but not all. Even with all civilian transports, we might get a fraction of the population out before they arrive. Anna met his eyes. Then we fight. Madam President, if we meet them on their terms, standoff engagement and chess-like strikes, we lose, Hayes said. I propose we throw out their rulebook. Our ships are faster, more maneuverable. Our crews can take higher Gs. We fight close, dirty, and make each of their losses cost them 3 of theirs. Total war, she said. Yes. Anna was still for a long moment. Then she nodded. Do it. But we defend ourselves. We hurt them enough to force pause, not to become the monster they think we are. Hayes looked at the tactical map. Understood. 3 days later, the Concorded fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of New Britannia, S system. 20 massive vessels versus 2 human destroyers on station. The Concorded formation was precise, arrogant. Governor Robert Mills' communicator chirped. Governor, this is Captain Lena Park on the Relentless. We're receiving a transmission. High Commander Quinn's face filled the screen. Governor Mills, I am authorized to accept the surrender of New Britannia on behalf of the Galactic Concorded. You have 1 hour to order all forces to stand down. Mills stared. No. Quinn blinked at the refusal like a wound. You have 2 warships, I have 20. Come and take it, Mills said. He cut the line and ordered the evacuation. Civilians first, children and families. The staff moved in a terrified blur. 45 minutes later, Concorded weapons fired at a civilian orbital station, unarmed and full of people. The beams tore the habitat rings apart. Debris and bodies scattered into black. Thousands died before the first human guns returned fire. Captain Park watched the station die and felt a cold clarity fill her. All hands, she said into the shipwide comm. We engage the enemy. Odds are against us. We make every shot count. She told her tactical officer, Nadia, to ignore the capital ships and aim for carriers. Get inside their envelope, she ordered. make them choose between firing and hitting their own ships. The Relentless accelerated, weaving through debris and fire. Her sister ship, the Defiant, kept close. Human destroyers closed distances no concorded vessel was designed to handle, ramming, collisions, point-blank strikes meant to break carriers and convoys. They used speed and daring where the Concorded used distance and protocol. The battle was brutal. Human ships took losses. One by one, brave crews gave everything, ramming a carrier to save a station, taking engines and reactors off the line. The Concorded paid dearly. Their fleet's confidence cracked into fear. When the Proxima engagement came, Hayes used every trick he had studied for years. Human ships seemed to flee, luring Concorded pursuers into an asteroid belt seeded with mines and autonomous weapons. Then the trap closed. Destroyers dropped stealth and moved like predators through their formation, targeting engines and weapons with savage efficiency. When Concorded cruisers went dead in space, human Marines boarded. The Concorded had never trained for ship-to-ship internal combat. Their crews were unprepared for close-quarters boarding. Within minutes, human teams seized bridges, captured captains, and turned fear into surrender. Admiral Hayes broadcast a message that echoed through Concorded channels. "You came expecting easy victory. You thought we would surrender. You were wrong. We are Deathworlders. Survivors. We do not play by your rules. We will not surrender. Every ship you send against us will be destroyed or captured. Every world you occupy will become a battlefield." Across the Concorded fleet, commanders heard that message and felt something new, dread. Pride would not let them withdraw. They would escalate instead, send more ships, more soldiers. The Concorded would try to overwhelm humanity with numbers and resources, but humanity met escalation with ferocity. They fought like people who had learned to survive impossible odds. They did not win because of better ships or superior numbers. They won because they were willing to pay the price their enemies were not. The emergency session of the Galactic Concorded Council lasted hours. Reports from Proxima showed humiliation, captured ships, ruined tactics, and a revealed truth. The galaxy had underestimated the humans. Primus Tal slammed his hand in fury. "We sent 5 times their numbers and they made us look like fools." "Then send more," he barked. "Increase forces tenfold if necessary." "Perhaps negotiations," Bren suggested, but Tal would hear none of it. "We cannot negotiate with terrorists," he spat. "They refuse the natural order." Meanwhile, on occupied New Britannia, ordinary people became insurgents. Teachers, shopkeepers, engineers, people who never imagined a rifle in their hands, built networks of resistance, improvised explosives, safe houses, and plans to harry supply lines. Their goal was not outright victory, it was making occupation too costly to maintain. And when intelligence pulled a darker thread, Concorded plans for biological weapons targeted at human DNA, Hayes felt the line had been crossed. It was genocide. When a stealth transport carrying such a weapon was found headed for Earth, a captain volunteered to take it out with her ship rather than risk the deadly cargo reaching home. Sacrifice burned in bright, terrible light. The transport and the human ship were gone, but Earth was safe. That sacrifice changed everything. The Concorded had tried to exterminate a species. They had forced a people who prized freedom to become the hammer. Operation Hammerfall began. Human battle groups dropped into Rathani, Morvani, and Pelion home systems simultaneously. The core worlds, the places that had never seen war in 1,000 years, found war on their doorstep. Rathani Prime's orbitals were shredded. Governments fell. Primus Tal's regime crumbled. The Concorded, unprepared for the rawness of human resistance, saw their empire fracture. Some leaders sued for peace. Others fumed and vowed revenge. When the smoke settled, humans counted losses and honored the brave. The price had been high, but the message had been clearer. The galaxy could no longer treat humanity as a petulant, dangerous child to be kept under watch. Deathworlders had tasted survival in the coldest ways, and they would not be owned. Across human space, people began rebuilding, honoring those who had given their lives. The war had ended one way. Not with total annihilation, but with a hard lesson learned at terrible cost. The Concorded would never forget it. Humanity would not either. And as Ambassador Claire Hoffman watched the hollow of the council chamber now under human guard, she thought of the tiny hands of children on Earth, of every life saved by courage and sacrifice. The vote that had seemed like a death sentence had become the spark that showed a stubborn truth. Underestimated people, when forced, become the architects of their own fate.